Hi, everyone. Hi, welcome. Joining. Super. Hello.
Hi
If you want to
everyone.
put your camera, that would be fantastic for 2 minutes so that we can see your pretty faces. That would be super. Okay. Welcome to Thriving Singapore. So this is an event series within the context of Thriving Singapore, and we are extremely happy to welcome you tonight. So what is Thriving Singapore, you may ask? It's very simple. It's really the direct expression of our willingness to dream beyond the pandemic and our willingness to dream beyond and to increase the creativity in Singapore. So it's a virtual exhibition, and we have the pleasure to welcome 10 visual artists and 4 practitioners, dancer, meditation practitioner on the Thriving Singapore website. Among these very special, talented, and creative Singapore-based artists, there is one that is called M DRAKO that we welcome tonight. So she's one of the visual artists in the Thriving Singapore. She's been invited by the Creative Artwork Agency and area studio, and she came up with an excellent idea. She told us, how about we organize an event to share a bit more about the team that is behind of one of my latest creative project, which is called Plantopia. And she said, yes, I can just invite, my bosses, my colleagues, and we talk about how creatives can join the gaming and the board game industry. And with creative artwork, we thought like, wow, okay, that's really cool idea, because we're going to learn whether you are into gaming and board game or whether you're just wondering what it is about and how you can join. This is an event for you. So the event is going to last for about, well, there are so many people joining, amazing. The event is going to last for about 1 hour. Perhaps we can share this slide already, if you don't mind. So the event is going to last for about 1 hour. It's going to be live on YouTube, and you can find our conversation in any case on the Thriving Singapore website. And perhaps before we start, I also wanted to share a little bit more, if we can share like the virtual gallery in the next slide, please. Thank you. I just wanted to take the opportunity to really thank our supporter, the National Art Council and Gush Painting, because what we are doing here is quite special. The artists who join us is quite special. It's never been done in Singapore. And so we just wanted to thank the supporter who have joined us on this crazy journey. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome M DRAKO as we to M DRAKO.
Hello. I'm not sure if I'm lagging or it's like the other side. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi everyone. So I'm from the Thriving Singapore exhibition, one of the artists. And for today's event, I decided to invite like my teammates from Plantopia. This is a card game that we made together, 4 of us. It's called Plantopia. And it's already been produced and now it's being shipped to everyone who backed our Kickstarter project. So today with me, I have Elwin Lee from Daylight Studios, CEO of Daylight Studios. So in the picture, that's Elwin and me in front. And at the back is Nicholas Pang and Daryl Chow from Origame or Origami. So they are a board game company. And Elwin and I are from Daylight Studios, which we produce digital games. So this is our first collab with Origame, and it's also our first time venturing into creating card games. So today we'll be talking about the gaming industry, both board gaming and digital gaming. And I also share about like my journey into the game industry, because I'm actually not like I wasn't always a pro or like a hardcore gamer or anything. So I think it'll be interesting to share with everyone who wishes to start out like on this journey as well. So just a quick intro. I'm a musician, so I play violin, different genres. But I think the one that's most known is like when I play heavy metal covers on the violin. Yeah, and I just released my first single, Memory from a Star. And I'm also an artist for Life of a Potato, I think some people here might be from there. So Life of a Potato is under Daylight Studios as well. And currently I'm managing like most of it, the art and like the social media marketing, the content and stuff. Whereas Elvin, he does the business side of it, like finding collabs. And also shout out to Singapore, the Singapore Games Association. I think they are here also. So it's because of them that Elvin got to know Daryl and Ori Game. So that's how our whole collab came about. Yep. And also, so now I'm working full-time at Daylight Studios as a game developer. I started out as a scriptwriter, but now my job scope is like slightly broader. So later I'll be elaborating on this. And on the side, I also play a board game. That's the top left picture. It's called Go. It's not River Sea. It's totally different. Yeah, so it's called Go or Wei Qi or Paduk in Korean. So I've represented Singapore a few times in this game. So like I'll say that's the game that I'm best at. And other than that, I actually have limited knowledge about the gaming industry when I first started. So since this is hosted by the exhibition, I'll just show the pictures, the diagrams, I mean like the paintings that I've done, they are on exhibit. So I've chosen the theme of local music. So like in the first one, you can see there's the durians in the piano. It's like showing how below the busy city life, we just want to enjoy the little things in life, like music and durians. And on the right, it's like a drum set made out of our nostalgic like kopitiam, local stuff and tiger balm. And here, of course, I need to do a violin since I'm a violinist. You can see there's a Malayan and there's the Gardens by the Bay Dome. And actually the violin bridge is the Elgin Bridge. And on the right side is the trumpet with Marina Bay Sands, the Art Science Museum and the flyer. Yep. Okay, so this is like my where I started out with games. When I was around 10 or 11 years old, I wanted to make my own game. But you know, at that time, we don't have much access to like computers or anything, like, you know, the dial-up connection. Yeah, that's like my generation. So I made this game book. I drew out like everything by hand. So in the previous session, I shared more detail about this, like we did a flip through, but for this one, I've just summarized so that we can talk about the other aspects as well. So this whole thing is drawn by hand, and like every time my friends will play, and each time I have to update the game, I will literally use like eraser and pencil to erase and redraw whatever has to be updated. And then, so how it works is first you find money and items in the different worlds. So I draw out the different worlds, and then I'll hide the money, like especially in the circles, because they are like money bags in that sense. So I write like how much it's worth. Like you can see there's 100 like SP over here. So the currency is SP, silly points. Yeah, so you find items and you can find money in the different worlds. So there's like some money hidden here as well. Then if there's items around, I'll write the word where you can keep the item in your inventory. So when you have money, you can use it to buy items. So I also draw every shop and like all the inventory. Yeah. And here are more shops. So there's a lot of pages. So I've just chosen a few to show. And then there's a sabotage, like sabo shop. So you can buy items to sabotage your friends' avatars. And you can also upgrade your avatar look. And there's some random items here. Yeah, so I came up with a lot of like crazy, funny items. So this is how the each player's avatar and inventory looks like. So the items that you buy or you find at the worlds, then they'll end up in your inventory here. Then you can upgrade the look. And then if you get sabotage, like someone throws paint at you, right? Then like your avatar will change as well. Yeah, so here's another. This one was like these two people played so much that like until it tore a hole, so I had to like tape it back. Yeah, and they collected like a lot of stuff. And then there's even mini games. So like, you know, last time we used to play those paper football game. Like you put your pencil down and then you flick it and then you see how far your lead goes. The lead that you draw goes. Yeah, so they can play this game to get money. So there's a few mini games around as well. Okay, so like I just wanted to show that it's not too early to start also. Like if you're a kid now and like you don't have to wait till you're old to like find your dream or something. If you want to do something now, you can try. And even more so, like the kids now, they have access to internet, like unlike us in the older days. I now suddenly feel so old when I say this, but yeah. So I think there's a lot of things you can learn online, be it like coding or art. And if you want to make your own game, you can always try, so you don't have to wait to start. And likewise, for those who are older or like adults, it's we can also look towards like what we did as a child, or like the kind of things we wanted to do in order to find inspiration. So actually, like a lot of the stuff that I drew in the past are like my inspiration for some of the things that even appear in my current games, like Plantopia, and like some of the items in the digital game that I worked on, Holy Potatoes. Later, I'll show some screenshots from it. And also, this is these current images are from my animated film. So I did an animation. It's called The Computer Sucks. And like you can find it on my YouTube channel. Later, I'll send you the link if you want to watch it. So you can see that I just really love puns and like this kind of funny stuff. So now I'll talk about how I got into Daylight Studios. It's very funny. So I thought that they were hiring they had like two sections there. One is like scriptwriter, and one is just general application. So I just like bomb everything. The title I just put like general application / scriptwriter. Then I sent everything, but like most of the stuff I had in my resume were like art related, and like the random stuff that I did, like playing Go and art and stuff. So I assumed that they called me in for interview as an artist, but halfway through the interview, then I felt like something is not right. And then I realized that actually they are hiring a scriptwriter. So like I was a bit shocked, right? But then I was thinking like, I think I still want this job, so I better just wing it. Yeah, so I just went along with it. Then I tried to dig up like everything possible that could like help me to get the job, like how I wrote scripts for Odyssey of the Mind performance like a million years ago and things like that. So like I actually don't have like any official diploma or degree in writing. I'm more of an art person and an ideas person rather than like writing lengthy scripts and stories. So I was very surprised, like they gave me a writing test and somehow I passed and I got the job. And so now I'll talk about what the scriptwriter does. Firstly, it's not the programmer. Like a lot of people hear scriptwriter, somehow they think it's a programmer. So now I've done like a lot of aspects. I've tried a lot of different aspects in my work, but not programming. So scriptwriter is not same as the programmer. We do like the content creation, the stories, and we write the game content. This could be like the NPC stalking, or like all the NPC lines, or the different dialogues, the item descriptions, and like even the UI stuff, like click here to do this or this and that. Yeah, and the different stories. And sometimes we help out with the publicity material also, like writing stuff for publicity and all the different descriptions. So I think that if this was a job for like those maybe some very serious or like those very long fighting games with a lot of different branches, they might not have hired me. But I think that my character and the works that I've done coincide very well with the Holy Potato series under Daylight Studios, which is very light-hearted and comedy and like a lot of puns. So like as I showed in my previous works, even in the stuff that I drew as a child, there were also quite a lot of funny puns and quirky stuff. So I think that's one of the reasons why they still managed to accept me. But the thing is that like I felt like an imposter because firstly, I got in because I didn't even know they were hiring a scriptwriter and I don't have much background. And then also like most of them were like proper gamers, but then because like I wanted since young I wanted to train the board game Go, right? So I kind of banned myself from playing like much games or watching shows. So it's quite ironic because suddenly this job, right, you need to know a lot about like the games, like the different storylines, and you need to know about, like, I banned myself from watching all the shows, right? But then here you have to write about a lot of pop culture references. So like even celebrities or what, right? We make references to them in the games. Like a lot of the characters are based on celebrities or like they are like parodies of other game characters. So like our characters are all potatoes, right? So like there's the Kim Kardashian one branch is called like Kim Kardashian, and then like we have all the different dialogues also, right? So we have to create content like parodies based on the material of like pop culture or other games. So it requires a lot of knowledge about that. So how I prepared is, firstly, I went to read the scripts of all the previous games. So this is a series. I was the scriptwriter for number 4, Spy Story. So I went to read the previous scripts. So like they have it all in the Excel. The first game, like Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop. Holy Potatoes, we are in space. Holy Potatoes, what the hell? That's actually like some cooking simulator game. Yeah, so I went to read the scripts from the previous writers so that I can get an idea of like the kind of tone and the style, like how this whole series goes. Because even though they are like separate games, like we have the same fan base rather, and like it's the same kind of vibe. So I think it's good to prepare by reading the previous scripts. So that's for the game itself. And then I also tried playing through the games so that I can become a more real gamer. And then after that, it's like for the pop culture references. So every day I'll try to read more about the news and other like read the game news as well. So I'll always go and see what's the latest games on Steam. Sometimes I'll read on like Polygon, the website, and then I'll just catch up with the news. And then to try to sort of train myself for writing all the different storylines and stuff, I go and like spoiler myself all the different game storylines. So like I'll search the game and then I'll go read their entire storyline on Wikipedia, like every day just read different games. So I think it's so my first message was to the kids, it's never too early to start. And now my message is like to everyone also that it's never too late to start. So like even though I started out feeling like an imposter and I don't know much, but I think that like if you really try and you show that you're willing to learn, right, then you can also do new things. So I hope that you won't wait for the perfect moment, or like don't wait till you think you have all the skills needed until like it's perfect, then you try to start doing something, because usually the perfect time will never come. So if you want to do something, maybe you can just give it a try. So here's some of the screenshots excuse me, from the game that I worked on. It's called Holy Potatoes, a Spy Story. The first picture, right, is Dan TDM. He's one of a famous game streamer. So this video has 2 million views on YouTube. You can check it out. So he actually played through our game and then he like read the scripts that I wrote. Yeah, and I think the art is really nice. So like the artist did a great job. And then you can see like you write the different puns. So like there's the Agent Salt and Pepper, then it's a spy game. So they're always going like together. We are the Spice Girls. And then we have the there's a lot of different items also. So besides writing the story, I also come up with the content, some of the content. This one also, some of the other colleagues also, they will chip in different ideas. So like this rocket Caesar salad was also my idea, but the art is done by the artist. But sometimes I'll do simple sketches like to show them certain ideas that I have. For example, like here are some of my ideas for the items, and the toilet bowls got rejected by the artist, but yeah. There's like the cat gumball machine and the fruit dumbbells. This is the Agent Peri Peri, I think, the platypus. Yeah, and then we needed some like CCTV or something. So the eye of the tiger and the eyes of Medusa. And then one of the characters was supposed to have a mechanical arm. So like I wanted to make the arm as annoying as possible. The arm is called Armani some more. Yep, so you can see like some of the sketches here. Wait. And then also like certain cutscenes, if I have ideas, then I just do a quick sketch for them to see. Can you all see my mouse, by the way? Like I'm showing stuff with my mouse, but I don't know whether it's showing. Yeah, so like we also needed some transportation items. So there's my idea of the chicken wings. So it's actually a box with chicken wings, so people sit inside, and then the chicken wings in the takeaway box will move. And this is what I call that? Suddenly forgot. The hot air balloon. Yeah, so there's different levels of the hot air balloon. So there's like the lousy one, then you upgrade. So the lousier one, right, I suggested like it's actually just a plastic bag like tie around the market basket. So this is like a plastic bag with the market basket. And this is a Dartis. So if you watch the Doctor Who thing, there's a TARDIS, right? It's the flying post police box or something. So this is a dart attached to the police box. I think this one's clearer. Yeah, so the Dartis instead of a TARDIS. And then this was my other idea of a helicopter. So it's a helicopter, but like it's like a cat. Some of them didn't make it into the game, but some of them are in the game. Yeah, so it's quite interesting, and I'm happy that I get a chance to like play a part in the creative part also. And over here are more screenshots. So this one was my idea. Like the artist got a bit annoyed with it because it was like quite lame. The thumb drive and the toe drive. Yeah, like when you upgrade, you get a toe drive and a finger drive. And then there's the Kettling gun which shoots like cat food. Yeah, and the Nikki Spinach stuff. So I try to insert a lot of puns in the dialogues as well. And then just to show you, like, this is one of the behind the scenes also lah. So like when you play the game, right, you probably don't imagine actually behind there's a lot of things like the list of sound effect, and then like all the character lists, and then for each expression also you need to assign different things. So like kudos to the programmers also lah for all their hard work. So I think it's like it's very important, not just in game industry but in anything, right? It's like we should also not just think about our own job, but also like try to find out about the other jobs. Like for example, because we have to work with the artist, as I mentioned, we also have to work with the programmer, like all these things. So I think it's good to like actively find out what is going on in the whole company as well, so that it's easier for people to work with you. Like also have to do the marketing stuff, so that's like with the PR guy, the producer. Yeah. And this was our game on the App Store, game of the day. And this is another picture that I drew like when I was 13 years old. I drew it under the classroom table, like during class. And then this is at the Apple at Orchard. Yeah, so this whale washer became, like I drew it like when I was 13 years old, but now it kind of became a small like side joke in the game as well. Like the main characters always obsessed with wanting to wash a whale, then there's a whale washer invention. Yeah, so I think sometimes we can get inspiration from things we did in the past as well. And also like, I think I got to try a lot of new things as well. And I think sometimes you also have to try to actively try new things also. So this is actually the Spanish version, and I did QA for the game. So QA is like you have to test the game also to see whether everything works well, and then you tell the programmers the bugs. So like after I'm done writing the script, then you try to help in other ways possible, especially since it's a smaller company. So I QA the game to try to find bugs. And also our game was in different languages, so I QA the entire game in Spanish. Like I played through and checked all the Spanish ones, because I've actually spent like almost all my traveling time on the bus and the MRT for like about 2 years learning Spanish on the Duolingo app. So actually I cannot speak Spanish fluently, but in the end it still comes in handy, because I can actually like still check for spelling errors. Like I'm telling you, the worst error I found in this game was like they translated something like I hate veggies, right? Then they go and translate it to I hate vegetarians. Yeah, so I think it's good, if you can spot these kind of things. Yeah, so as what I was saying, don't wait for the perfect timing to do things, and you don't always have to be perfect in order to do stuff. Like even though I can't speak Spanish fluently, but then because like I familiarize myself with the language, then there's still ways that I can help, like by checking the spelling. And I can also tell when the sentences get cut off by the UI problems, because like I know the sentence is not finished, because I can kind of read it as well. Yep. So now I'm also doing Life of a Potato, as I mentioned. That's like a comic series based on a potato, trying to spread like joy and happiness. And it's a new initiative. I think later Elwin will elaborate on it. Actually, the idea of creating a comic series is Elwin's idea. Like I'm doing the drawing and the art and the content and the ideas now. But like the whole beginning of this was like Elwin told me like let's make a comic about a potato. Yeah, so later Elwin will probably explain the rationale, like why a game company wishes to do this. So I just want to show this, like this was the beginning, like my drawing style. And then now it has changed. I think it's a lot better now, like it looks more professional, I guess. So I'm happy that I can also manage to improve my art. So this IP can lead to a lot of new creations, including this Plantopia. So Plantopia is based on the IP of Life of a Potato, but it's a collab with Origame, the board game company. So Daryl from Origame, he does the game mechanics, like the gameplay. So all even the stats balancing, and like he does a lot of rigorous game testing to improve the gameplay, so that besides looking good, the game's actually fun to play. And I think Daryl has done a great job on that. I really think the game is quite a unique mechanic and is very replayable. So for Plantopia, I did all the artwork and also most of the creative content, like the plants, the plant names, the descriptions, and the artwork. And then Elwin, Nick, and also Daryl, they manage some of the more tedious stuff. So like I'm very glad that we are here as a team to do this together. So like they manage things like doing the ads, like ads and financing the backer kits, collating the backers, like all these kind of things. So I think it's really good that as a team we work together so that like we can fully focus on doing the creative stuff, while some of them help out with like the finances, things like that. Yeah, so I think we've done well as a team. And this is the actual game that the printer sent us. I actually haven't received it yet, but I think Daryl received one sample copy. You can look at his picture. Yeah, but it's a bit disappearing due to his Zoom background, but maybe later he can show. And this is some of the behind the scenes. Like when I was thinking of plants, there's actually quite a lot of plants here that are not in the game yet. So, you know, maybe Plantopia 2 or something. Yeah, but you can see the Dandelion. That's how it started. And for the Kickstarter, I also work on like the animation. So you see the how to play video and the what was that? Yeah, how to play video in the trailer also. That's done by me. The music also I compose and produce myself. Cause like on the side I'm also doing music production, like electronic music stuff. And then oh, I also did the voiceover.
Yeah, so if you see all the voices in the Plantopia video, that's actually my voice. Welcome to Plantopia.
Yeah, so that's actually my voice. And like, so I did the voiceover, the animation and the music for this. So I think, yeah, from the start till now, I've really gotten to try a lot of things and like learn new things as well. And some of the behind the scenes for more Plantopia stuff. And so here's the prototype of Plantopia. This is not the final one, so there's still quite some changes both in the design and the content. And you can see some stickers pasted over, because like Daryl worked very hard with the play testing, and like he changed some of the stats along the way so that the game can be more balanced. I guess he can explain more about how it works, like designing game mechanics. Yep. And so I think this is the proudest moment as a team so far when we finally beat the oven. Okay, so like this is a Kickstarter, and then like we started Plantopia as a Kickstarter project, and then like on the last day suddenly like it trended. It was the #1 trending Kickstarter project in the whole world. Like you can see we're even trending above Keanu Reeves. Yeah, and so I think like it's quite unexpected, because yeah, and like just really happy that many people get to appreciate this sense of humor, the gameplay, the game itself. Yeah. So that's why I think it will be really interesting to have this sharing session together with the rest of the team as well. So like can see the different things that go on behind the making of a game. And so after this, I'll be passing to Elwin, who will talk about the gaming industry, digital gaming, Daylight Studios. And so just remember, I think my message for today, like it's not any particular technical thing about gaming or what, but I just hope that people will know it's never too early to start, and it's also never too late to start. Like all the things I mentioned, right? I wasn't really pro at it, like how I started as a scriptwriter with no background in writing, even like music production, I learned it from scratch, and the QA in Spanish, even though I cannot speak Spanish well, there's still something you can do, no? So like just start and try to learn something whenever you can. Okay, and now I'll pass to Elwin Lee. So he's actually my boss from Daylight Studios. He's the CEO of Daylight Studios. Yep, and I think we can look at his screen now. Hold on.
Let me see if I can share screen. Okay. Okay, hi everyone. I hope you guys can see my screen. I presume it's on, right?
Yep.
Okay, let me do a quick one. Rio has done a really good job, I'll say. So right now, nowadays, I don't call myself as CEO, I call myself Chief Potato, because I'm kind of obsessed with potatoes nowadays. So I'm briefly going to run through how I actually came up with the idea with Live Potato more towards the gaming industry. Yeah, so just a quick background, Daylight Studios, we have been making games since 2011, and our goal is actually to make wholesome original IP with captivating storylines, characters, bringing joy to our audience. So whenever you play our games, you actually have fun, enjoy the puns, enjoy the storylines. So these are some of the games we have made. I think Rio has really gone through that. So you can check out our games on different platforms.
Aku tunggu dia jalan kot.
Okay, so let's start through how did I get started with live potatoes. So the inspiration I get is actually from this cabinet of mine. So after I got married, me and my wife started collecting a lot of figurines, and this is where it sparks my inspiration of trying to create an IP of my own. So you can see all these are actually popular manga or actually game characters that you're quite familiar with. And also some of the top process I had is game development. Nowadays is getting more and more high risk. And also next is why actually some people adore cute characters like Doraemon and Hello Kitty for the last say 40 and 50 years. So these are some of the top process I had why I actually came up with Live Potato. Moving on is also right now if you keep making games after games after game, we have made like 4 titles already. There's no direct method we can engage the audience. Actually, technically speaking, we don't know who is playing our games. And also another fun fact is potato is known to everyone in the world. So be it you're Chinese, Japanese, Korean, or anyone, any dialect, any culture, you will know what is potato. In Singapore, we call it maling but in China, we call it tuto actually. So I thought of why not use potato as a core IP and come up with something new. So, and last thing, after making games for so long, right, we feel that game mechanics can easily be copied by anyone because you can't really trademark a game mechanics. So, and one thing I realized is what cannot be copied easily is actually story plus art and character. I don't think you can find any games that blatantly copy. If not, it will actually be called a clone, and actually no one will actually bother to play um, that, that game or actually support that IP. So this is how I actually, these are the different thought process I had back then to, then I arrived into this IP. So story, art, and character. So in 2019 January, that was where Life of Potato is born. So all these taglines about small potatoes, big dreams will come up along the way. Because all I told Real is actually one liner. Is like I wanted a story of a potato, just can be any fruits and vegetables. So I just want the main focus to potato. I didn't even tell her that the potato to have a bite mark. She actually came up with the character, what is the characteristics, what other characters like bananas, tomatoes, and all that. And it's about friendships and overcoming obstacles, sort of that kind of concept. Yeah, so this is actually some of the first draft that she came up with. You can see we were actually trying out what is the different art style, trying out what's the content that's actually attractive to different type of audience. And then the one that actually we were quite thankful, we tried for about 3 weeks because it started in January. New Year was around the corner, and we actually played with the idea of the French. Actually, Rio came up with the idea that French fries goes to the barber and turn out to be a curly fries because every year McDonald's will do a curly fries ad, and most women actually will go to perm their hair for Chinese New Year to decorate. So and actually this went viral actually in which didn't expect it actually. So yeah, actually this is how it actually live potato got popular, and we slowly built the momentum. Rio actually took her about I think 3 to 4 months or even longer to actually perfect the type of line weight and colors and the expression. You can see how big of a difference between if I compare it side by side. So actually, I would say to all the artists, the more you practice, the more you try, the more you experiment with different things, you reach the point that to this sort of perfection in a way. Yeah. So as I mentioned, story, art, and character. So we actually did a background story initially. How did he actually get the bite mark? So when we first crafted the character, we didn't think of it that much. We actually came up with this storyline very late. I think 6 months or 9 months later down the road. Then try to explain how actually because a lot of some of my friends or some of the fans even ask where does he get the bite marks from. So we actually provide a simple explanation and introduce the other characters. Yeah. So I would say for me, these are some of the very simple key advice if you want to get into the gaming industry or be it coming out with your own characters. So first thing I would say play more, because if you want to be in the game industry, to make more games, you have to play more games, be it board games or digital games. Any type of game is going to be helpful because you get to know more game design skills. Reading helps to actually expose yourself to different knowledge around the world, not just in the gaming world. You can adopt different stories into the game, which is very important because if you want to make it a story-driven game, and then experiment and failing more is part of the process of actually creativity. There's no secret recipe to it. I would say the more you try, your luck will increases, and then you have higher chance of success. That's actually the best formula I can give to everybody. And without SGGA, there is Gwen here and some other guys, we wouldn't have met Ori Game, which we had a very good collaboration. Just fun fact, digital game and board game design is very, very different. So even though we are in the gaming industry for quite a long while, Gareth's experience is totally on a different level from mine also. Yeah, so know your own strength is most importantly. And I think with this collaboration with Ori Game, we actually managed to match both our talents together, and together with real artwork and together with this IP, I would say it kind of the formula we created to make Plantopia a good success, and explains why our Kickstarter did well, I would say. So I would say these are the key advice I can give to any aspiring game entrepreneurs or anyone want to draw their own IP or make their own games or board games, or yeah, this is what I have. Then just a quick, we're actually right now in the process of making the 5th Holy Potato game. We're actually taking a short break, and you can check it out. Google for Holy Potatoes, I'm a Hero, and it's a completely different kind of game. We are actually moving more towards story-driven and less puns, I would say. So yeah, you can check out. It's going to launch probably next year, Q3. We are taking our time to make this game. And last but not least, I will end off with a quote that I feel for myself is nothing is original, steal from anywhere that resonates with your inspiration or fuels your imagination. Because a lot of time where you get inspiration from is actually a combination of a lot of things that you are exposed to, be it subconsciously or unconsciously. So yeah, so go ahead to explore as much as possible and combine as much ideas as much as possible. With that, I will end my slides. I'll pass it over to Daryl. Daryl, over to you.
Hello. Okay, I'm just going to, because we are analog games, so I'm not going to use any slides. It's going to be analog. Let me remove this. Okay. Okay, so we have Plantopia here. I'm just going to show, I mean, especially for those of you who backed it. So yeah, I mean, it comes in this box. So this box is not the version that you'll be getting. You'll be getting the shiny one that Ryu showed earlier. But so this is the regular retail version. Yeah, so I mean, so in general, this is what we do. We translate those game ideas into apps like this, and then people can kind of take this and create their own game experiences with their friends and family. Yeah, but I mean, with Ryu's help, I mean, this is, this is like one of our really professional. I mean, not that now they're not professional, but like this one has really shiny cards. You can see like the light on it, and then the potato is somewhere here. Where is potato? Yeah, here. And mushroom is hiding here. Yeah. So, I mean, thanks to the fact that the Kickstarter did so well, yeah, we were able to kind of unlock lots of these things, and the amount of cards that we actually unlocked from the all the stretch goals. So these are all the country cards that me and Ryu worked on. So, for example, you have like the Australia card here, Italy card here. So I think that's like then the Singapore one, of course. So it's like over, I think it's 12 countries that we had like over 100 backers from. And yeah, we worked really hard during that period to come up with, I mean, both the puns, the game, the game elements also needed to be thematic, and also I mean, something that is kind of suitable and representative of the country itself. Yeah, so actually the stuff that I wanted to say, so I'm just going to talk a little bit now about the board game industry. Sorry, my daughter's in the background. Sorry. So Alwyn actually kind of like his slide really said almost everything that I wanted to say. So basically, it's like experiment more, fail more, produce more, and I mean I think that applies to a lot of creative work, no matter the industry within the creative field. And for board games, it's very similar. Personally, my background is not in board games either. I mean, just like you actually, like if I actually had to go back and look through my journey, just like you, like I played Chinese chess, and then I played bridge, and like all of those things. But me and Nick, we only started our company 2 years ago. I mean, before that, I did kind of work in, like, I would say that I was an amateur in the board game industry for about 10 years before that, because I also design games. So like games behind me, these are for other companies. But I'm actually a trained linguist. I literally have a dissertation in Singlish. I spent like almost 10 years doing my PhD, which I don't use anymore. And yeah, I mean, I think the board game industry is, just like the digital industry. If you have people who are very creative like you can survive well. Nick, you have anything to just talk a little bit about your background?
Yeah, you guys can hear me, right? Yeah, so I think, I mean, that seems to be the running thread throughout this sharing lah. And I mean, I just have to say that, right from the start, right, I really don't consider myself a gamer at all. I think it was only through after meeting Daryl, right, that I started to play more board games and buy more board games. But before that, I wasn't really a board game kind of a person. And I mean, I literally just bought a PS4 like 2 months ago because of, COVID and all that, right? So I'm not really a gamer kind of person. And my background is really in, actually I sort of dropped out of like a master's thing for theology lah. So my background is actually in theology lah, not in games at all. So yeah, so I mean I think just to echo what Ryu and Daryl said, right? I mean, like I think everyone has the capacity to be creative lah, and you just gotta find that niche area that you can thrive in, and also at the same time find partners who you can find synergy with. And in this case, there was a lot of synergy between Life of Potato and Origame. Everyone brought a different perspective and strength to the table, and the end result really is what you see, like Plantopia, artwork, puns. I mean, all these things by themselves, right? you wouldn't think that it would be that people will be interested in them, but then like putting them into marrying the art with a game mechanic create something new, something of greater value, and that's something that we actually try to do all the time. I mean, like we just came out with another print and play game actually. If you go to our website, you can actually print this game called Arachnoir. It's about spiders, detective spiders, right? And actually, that's a skin, like detective spiders. Before that, it was just about bugs, but we wanted to try like a story and a narrative, and applying that noir feel to a game about insects, and then Arachnoir was born. Yeah, so I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, I really resonate a lot with what we were saying earlier lah. She came into the interview thinking it was something, and then it ended up something else, and it took her down a different path. 2 years ago, I met Daryl, had no intention of starting a board game company, and then 2 years later, we have about five, 6 games published and more coming along the way. So I think it's just amazing, and I just have to be open to surprises lah. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dara, Alwin, Nick, as well as M DRAKO for sharing all of this. I am very conscious of the time. Sorry for jumping in straight away. We have 10 more minutes. So I do want to open the sort of the floor to questions out there from all of you listening in. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them inside the chat. If you can't find it, it's in the bottom. You'll see a chat icon, and you can put it in. Maybe I will kickstart off with one of the first questions I have. It seems that all of you have, all of you have very, wide experience, before getting into the game industry. You might not necessarily have come from the game industry. And M DRAKO did share how she got into it, but how about the rest of you, Nick, Dara, Elwin? How did you guys get into this industry? Having come from something so different and so varied.
I will start first. For me, I would say I actually I didn't know I would start a game company until I decided to, I started a game company for a very simple reason. I just want to make the next Angry Bird game, but indirectly I was stuck here for 10 years already. So I didn't have much aspiration back then. I just wanted to it's either you work for someone or someone work for you. I choose the route of, I start my own company and see what else will happen. Then indirectly I actually got this into like 10 years already. Yeah. So that's how I get into game industry, I would say.
So just wanting to make the next Angry Bird game.
Right, yeah.
How about Dara and Nick?
As I mentioned, I'm a trained linguist. I was actually teaching at NIE. I just doing my postdoc at NIE. My specialty is in Singlish, as I mentioned. But for like the last 10 years, I've been I joined a group called the Game Artisans of Canada. That was kind of the kickstart for me, and being involved with the creative process of thinking about games. To me, it was even more challenging than academics. So like I did academics because I wanted to be challenged, but then I realized that it was a lot of, I was challenged also, but like the amount of challenge to the ratio of red tape that I needed to do was way too much. So so like 2 years ago when the opportunities came up, that's when I was kind of doing game design on the side anyways, so I just switched to doing it full time.
Okay, how about Nick?
yeah, I mean, the idea was first triggered when I met Daryl in 2018 at some kind of a fair, like, like a game fair, and I had and we spent the weekend talking about stuff and playing games, and I think that triggered the idea of like, hey, how about like is there something here, like, and it took several more months before we thought that it was worth the risk and worth the effort to start something new, and I like design in general. I mean, I like design, and I like making tangible things, stuff that you can feel with your hands, rather than video stuff. So I thought this would be a very interesting path to take. And I guess at the back of my mind, I was thinking also, can board games be a vehicle for something else? A vehicle for commentary, or a vehicle for, let's say a social message, or even for culture, or for things of value, intangible things of value that you can somehow build into a game and have that game speak that to other people as they play it. So that was a running thread for me as well, that got me going.
Very interesting that there's a different motivation behind making games and just like, oh, I want to play games, So maybe some of you guys out there, you guys can think about what's the message that you want to give out there. So, and games or gaming might just be the vehicle to do so. So there are some questions that are coming in right now. One is from Ren. I really want to know, how do you get the chemistry to develop games with other members? That means, how do you find other team members to start working on the game together? Maybe, Nick and Daryl, you guys can share how you guys actually felt. Like, okay, I want to partner with you, as compared to everyone out there inside the fair that you guys met. And also, how often must you meet with the members to discuss about developing a game during a week? Well, this is very specific. But yeah, I mean, this is maybe for Daryl and Nick, but M DRAKO and Alwyn, you might want to address those questions too.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak about the board game side first, then later on Alwyn can take for digital side. Yes, actually for board games, it's actually quite difficult to design games in a group, I realize, because you need a lot of executive power to do a lot of these tweaks. I mean, personally, actually, I've done a lot of collaborations with game designers around the world. I actually designed games with people from Canada, Japan, Singapore. I think you really need to have a vision far together that you both share, and so like you don't really, both sides need to be that needs to be the shared vision, and then everything that's like all the minutiae along the way, that's I mean, you need to have the personalities to not care about these so much, and kind of let the game kind of breathe and develop till it gets that stage. As long as all parties agree with this, then it's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, I've been in kind of like collaborations in which like, or I've seen people that work together and then they come to blows or whatever. So it doesn't work all the time, but I think a shared vision is very important. Also the personality in which you really need to kind of sacrifice. I mean, it's just like a marriage, that very similar. You need to compromise all the time. Yeah, Alwyn, you can talk about digital side, because I mean, for board games, it's only like at most 2 or 3 people. Like for digital, you have like an army of people, so you can talk about it.
Okay, so definitely we need a game designer, an artist, and a programmer. That's the minimum. Unless you can take out dual roles, that's the most ideal case. Like View is a very exceptional case where we first hire her as a script designer, and she has art sense. So all these complementary skills is very helpful, because we also have music background when it comes to integrating timing, the art sound effects or that. So I'll say how to find chemistry. It takes a bit of try and error. For me, when I put people into the team, I will look for multi-skill people rather than you are just really very good in art, because especially for digital game, the main problem is most artists do not know about the technical side of things, like how to, like what Ryu have shared. Even a scriptwriter, you need to know the programming side of things, how to do the game design, and also a little bit of programming in order to work well with the everyone in the team. So I think that moving forward is a very important skill set to branch out your talents on top of your core strengths. Because just like I mentioned, you need to know your strength and you need to have additional other elements like other skill sets to complement your core strength. I think that's the most important key to find the chemistry to work with one another. Yeah.
Great. So again, I'm very, very conscious of time. We have a few more minutes left. We'll answer one more question before we do a quick roundup. Now I think we can stretch it for another, few more minutes for those who have a little bit more time and would like to stay and we answer the last two questions that we have. Okay. So before we do the summary first, Akmal from Malaysia is asking, so you have that game idea, but what is the first steps to assisting this person to publishing or producing their game? So he knows someone who has a game idea. How can he help that someone published or produced their game?
I will go first. So I will say I normally go for what is the USP, the unique selling point of the game. And then what is normally I will go for the art and story and the characters as usual, because mechanics nowadays, it's very hard to really reinvent the wheel. So and then I will actually right now we have this thing called Daylight X to actually help people who have new game ideas, then help to I will actually try to pass on all our knowledge in terms of operation. Because actually making a game technically is not hard. Anyone can make the game, but it's actually making a commercial game. You need to understand the commercial, the operation, the financing, the how to do social media, how to do marketing, how to actually do all your platforms and strategies and user experience. There's a lot more things that other than just making a game. Because even for me and Daryl, we're actually learning a lot how to work together. And making the product actually is really not the tough part. It's actually selling the product and getting the branding
Marketing
out.
and getting people to buy it.
It looks easy, like we just put on a Kickstarter, but a lot of hard work actually thanks to Rio. She don't know burn how many nights already. Me and Daryl also feel very bad about it. Yeah. So many thanks to what Rio is doing actually. Yeah.
Okay. So let me just do a quick roundup again, and then we can continue with questions for those of you who have a few more minutes to stay with us. So some of you might have joined halfway through the whole event. Welcome anyway. Okay, but just to give you a quick introduction for those of you who are not very familiar with where this whole workshop came about, or this talk came about. It's actually part of Thriving Singapore. We have a virtual exhibition as well as creative workshop series. You can go to thrivingsingapore.com and find out more about us. You can walk through the whole art space and see all the artworks on display, including M DRAKO's works as well. So she has a room dedicated to her. Go and find hers and go and read up more about the inspiration behind the 4 artworks that she has. All the artworks inside there are for sale as well. So if you're thinking of a unique Christmas present, there is those artworks that's on display, but also Plantopia is available. We'll drop the links inside the chat. If you want to, you missed the first part of it, you want to go and find out more about it as well. You're going to watch the first part of it. You can go to thrivingsingapore.com/events and find the past events, and you can see this recorded version after we're done with it. It'll be up on the website over there, so you can go and catch up a little bit more. Okay, so thank you so much. For those of you who have to rush off, you guys can go, but we will continue if you guys don't mind. Of you, Dara, M DRAKO, Elwin, Nick. We'll address a couple more questions before we end today. So Sorry, let me see. A lot of questions since I was talking. Joe Grim SG has a question for Darren, Nick, and Alwyn. What would you say is the biggest challenge facing local board game creators? Alwyn, you might have mentioned a little bit of this, you know, getting the game sold, marketing, but maybe just mention the toughest point that each of you felt in trying to market or sell the game, or you know, get some profit out of it.
Yeah, so I mean, Alwyn kind of mentioned it, basically unique selling points. Why should people buy your game? Because I mean, now there's like literally thousands of games out there. You really need to find your fan base, or you know, and it just can't be your friends. A lot of people, you know, who start off doing board games, you know, like they do testing with their friends, and their friends are like, oh, this game is great. This game is great. Then when it comes out, even their friends don't buy the game. And so you really need to kind of get honest opinions, and make sure that it's a good product that will sell. And yes, I mean, and also, I mean, even if it's a good product, you still need marketing. And so these are, it's not just one issue. It's really a lot of things combined. Alwyn can take over.
Yeah, I think for us, I'm trying to solve this problem whereby we tried to do LOP for 1 year first before we actually find a collaborator like Daryl. So my strategy is more of building the fan base so that you will get followers to actually follow your brand on social media, create engaging content rather than just blatantly trying to sell products. Because if you realize those kind of posts are not as engaging, and people will be actually may not follow you because your content doesn't excite them at all. So that's how we actually build up LOP strategy. We build the IP, we build the content, then find collaborator like Daryl, then leverage on the IP strengths, and it turns out actually both our synergy works quite well. So that's how we actually mitigate and actually to lower, or rather to increase the chance of success in a way. Not guarantee, but at least by then we made Daryl, we have almost 40 to 50K followers already, which without we didn't spend we spent $0 on marketing, all pure organic actually. So it's really thanks to what Will has done. All the content actually came up from her, and I don't control her at all. She's free to draw whatever she wants, and yeah. So because we will sometimes look out for different trends. Like I think there was one famous post whereby some guy pasted the banana and going to eat it, that painting, and actually Will did a funny post on that, and actually turns out quite well. People share it. So these are the things that we actually follow trends to build content and build followers. I think most importantly, you need to have people that likes your branding to actually give them a reason why they should support you. I think branding is the most important of all.
Yeah, so it's a very long journey actually, even after making the game.
Okay. Yeah.
Nick, is there anything you want to add to this?
No, actually, I mean, I think Daryl summed it up quite well, especially his last part. I think maybe the keyword for me is like fear of like criticism, fear of like honest feedback. And even if people do give it to you, like what do you do with it? You know, like do you psycho yourself and say, okay, actually this guy doesn't know anything, or do you actually do something with that feedback, you know? So
Selective listening.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest hurdle might be yourself most of the time, you know. Okay, so we'll answer one last question. I'm sorry if you guys, we can't get to all of you tonight, but we will do one last one before we round it up for today and release our speakers for the night as well. Jolie here is asking, just want to ask the team, how do you get people to join your team? Is there any criteria we have to consider, since some might be fresh grads and not have much art portfolio? I think Jolie, M DRAKO has shared extensively about how she got in without much experience. Okay, but maybe, you know, you guys as hirers, how do you choose the person? Elwin, you talked a little bit about that as well, right? Finding the right team. But is there anything you want to add to it? Like when you are interviewing a person or when you're looking at a particular portfolio, a CV, a resume, what are you looking for? Before you even meet the person, maybe.
Like I mentioned, I will tend to look for fusion. You have multi talents because it kind of helps a lot. You are not just good in one thing, and you can leverage on your other skill sets. Because one thing I think I also chip into why I actually hired Ray, because actually it's for her music background and she has art and she can do scripting, and it's going to be helpful if you're not just a writer and you just strictly think about writing. You need to have imagination of how to work with other people. And I think I actually didn't know what she had done behind the scenes, and I'm glad that she actually learned all these skill set along the way, and she managed to research us more about it. And yeah, I think you need to definitely know what you want, and then go in to when you submit the resume, actually present the best of your skill set and what are the complementary skill sets you have other than your school projects. I think that is most important. Yeah, and be yourself. I think that's most importantly.
So I think you have to do a lot of other things. Don't only show, you might not have any work experience, but if you're doing things on the side, I think it's important also to put it inside your portfolio, put it into your CV, because that might say different things about you.
Correct.
And, it might be your hobbies that people are looking for instead of your actual work experience. How about Nick, Daryl, and even Draco, what do you think after being hired and being used, all your talents are being made use of?
Yeah, I think it's important to, because what employers like, because I applied to different jobs actually, and some of them got back to me also, even though like the things that I sent in were not really related to the job. I think like it's important to be willing to learn, and that is something that almost every candidate can say. But if you want to prove it, then you have to actually do something. And I think it's okay that what you have done or what you have learned is not related to the job that you're applying, because it shows that you bothered to put in effort to learn something. So actually your words is not just saying, oh, I'm willing to learn, I can do this or that. So like I told them very honestly that I do not have much writing background, but I'm willing to learn also, and I'll put in the effort. And I showed the things that I've done, like how I've played Go and like trained over many years to become a national player. And then I showed like certain other programs that I took part in, like creative programs. So that's where I did a bit of script and like even acting. So I guess it shows that you are really out there, like to try different things, and you are not afraid to fail, and like you also be open to new things and working with new people. Yeah, so I think like it's good to try and find new skills to learn, even if it's not related, it doesn't matter. Because I mean, like, don't even talk about job, like it's just something that's good to have. I mean, you do it because you like it, and also it will show that you have the ability to be willing to learn. Yeah.
Thank you. Anything from Dara and Nick before we round up the session?
Yeah, I mean, we're actually hiring a marketing in a process of hiring right now also. But yeah, I mean, for us, it's really not about academic background. I mean, literally, I have a PhD that I don't use also. But it's about, especially I think for the board game industry, you really need to show that you're passionate about these products, that it's that is something that is meaningful to you. Because when you do a job that is not meaningful to you, it's just a job. I think we're lucky in the game industry that we're doing stuff that we're really passionate about. I mean, that's kind of why I'm doing this, rather than being an academic. And I think this is what keeps us going, even though we have all these challenges along the way. And it pushes us to be better at what we do every time we make a new product as well. Because of the drive that we not just want to make better products for other people, but really for ourselves to kind of improve, improve our skills.
Mm.
And so we try to find people that have the same mindset as well.
Okay. Nick, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been lucky so far, like, we've been operating quite lean, for the past year and a half. But in the process, we've met and worked with 3 or 4 like illustrators whose dispositions were very good, like, they had their own standards, they had standards, they didn't just want to do something and then it's like, do you approve this, like, if it's okay then we can go ahead. They had their own artistic integrity, and they were also willing to expand their range and to try different things. And I think that made the whole working relationship very enjoyable as well. It isn't just about creating a product at the end, but the whole process of even doing it was very life-giving. So I would say, it's a very timely question. I would be looking for people, who have that disposition and that willingness to learn and try. And if you want to, if you do something and it fails, okay, then you know not to try that again, but people who are willing to have the initiative and have those standards for themselves. Yeah.
So guys, get your CVs, get your resumes and portfolios ready. Send it over to Origami once this is over. Okay. So thank you once again, all our sharers, and of course all the audience over here for joining us, and asking your questions and giving your experience, sharing your experience with all of you, all of us over here. Before we leave, I think M DRAKO has a very cute gift for all of you. She has dropped the links inside there on where you can download the cute Life of a Potato wallpaper, okay, to use in your Zoom backgrounds if you want to next time. But if you enjoyed today's sessions, remember to check out traveling-singapore.com. Go and check out the virtual exhibition. Go to traveling-singapore.com/events to find out what else we have in store for you. Our events and the exhibition is running all the way to the end of December. Reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, or even email us if you have any questions, any feedback. Or even if you are interested in reaching out to the artist to purchase the artwork as well. So thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, everyone. Enjoy the wallpapers. And you can catch us on our Discord if you still wish to ask any further questions.
Yes.
It's in the links that I drop on the Zoom. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, I have